Evening. Welcome back to the low budget back porch. I just finished dinner and I think I got something stuck in my teeth. Anyway, as to tonight's nightcap, doing something new. An Asylum 13 Maduro, and I've never had these. Now I have smoked the Asylum Insidious, both Maduro and a Habano wrapper, and I believe they also make a Connecticut. I've had all of them, but I've never had an Asylum 13. Now, Asylum Cigars makes a number of really popular models, a lot of really large gauge stuff, but I really enjoy their Robustos that they make. They're just good, inexpensive, reliable cigars. Going to use a V-cut tonight. The type of cut you put into the cigar makes a big difference. With this one being a Robusto, I like the bigger draw that you get from a obviously from a V-cut, because it's just more surface area to pull from. But it's also got a really good mouth feel. And whenever I do a V-cut, this is not the best V-cut I've ever done. I like to use the tongue a little bit on it, make sure I don't have any extraneous chunks of leaves in there and come out when I'm smoking it, if I can help it. This one's good. This is pretty solid. So now I've cut, time to light. I'm gonna do another video at some point about lighters. This is a Vertigo, kind of a Zippo style lighter. Obviously it's painted or powder coated in black. It's a pretty durable finish actually. It's some sort of metal outer shell. I really like it a lot. It seems fairly durable. The insert in it is obviously butane torch. Right? And I like how the two torch heads are angled at each other, so they make like a single flame. And you get heat, like, wow, that's about 6 inches up. And it's hot, like, it almost burns me. So this thing's no joke, even though it's only a 2-pot there. I don't like it too toasty because it just overburns it really, makes the flavor on light up not that great, and you have to smoke through that. We're gonna do this bad boy right now. Let's go. Ooh. You ever feel like you missed a spot? Oh, first light, I did not expect that. That is a strong taste. Super smoky too. Wow. This one might be a spitter. Did not light well. Not maybe partially my fault. It may be totally my fault. Like someone took bark and lit it on fire and put it in my mouth on initial light. Wow. Now you may like that. I'm not so sure, but it actually wasn't that repugnant. I wouldn't say I liked it, but I didn't hate it. It was just a very strong initial light, an initial flavor, and a lot of smoke. Definitely not used to that. It's definitely changed now that we're past the initial light. It's mellowed out. I think it's settled into itself. Tonight, I'm pairing up my Asylum 13 with a old-fashioned Coke. So, not sure about this one yet, so I definitely wanted to have something where I can clear the palate, and that's where the Coca-Cola comes in. It's a different stick. It's a totally different stick. This is amazing. On initial light, it was strong and flavorful, but not too strong. Didn't hit me in the back of the throat. Not peppery, but just a lot of wood and leather. Something else. almost like a cinnamon flavor. It was really light at first. Now it's coming through a little more. Oh, I really like that. It's not sweet. There is a little sweetness. I missed that. There's a little sweetness, I think, from the Maduro wrapper. It is not an overly sweet cigar. If you don't have a sweet palate, you'll be fine. It's not that sweet. But there's a little sweet note in it. Almost a little honey sweet. A little white pepper. Real little. Right at the end. But that cinnamon, I can't get past that. It's awesome. It's so light. It's barely detectable. If you're someone who's just getting into smoking, all of this stuff's going to be Greek to you, and it should be, because it takes a while to develop your palate. But once you do, you've been smoking for, say, 6 months to a year, maybe a little longer, you start to pick up on things, obviously. Different cigars, you pick up on strength and pepper right away, or weakness, or something just more dry tasting or wet tasting. Thick smoke, thin smoke, chewy smoke. That's like a thick smoke. You'll hear that a lot. Great term. But when people start talking about flavors, they're not meaning flavors put in the cigar. Nobody infused the thing with any of the stuff I'm talking about. There's no coffee grounds, there's no honey. It's just the flavor I'm picking up on. That's the beauty of premium hand-rolled cigars, is that you get all this out of a tobacco leaf. Dried, fermented, aged, treated differently, grown differently, different strains, different genetics, different soil, different weather, and all of that matters. All of it makes a difference. Now, is it something you're going to pick up if you're just one of those people who's like, oh, that'd be a cigar, it's great? No. But if you're somebody who takes a little more time, puts a little more thought into things, you're going to really enjoy this, because it is nuanced, man. And this thing really exemplifies that. I am really pleasantly surprised. No joke, never smoked this cigar before, had no idea what to expect, other than I've smoked other Asylum cigars, and they were delicious, not in the same category. The Insidious are all like an unintentional sweet tip. They literally taste like sugar is right there at the end of the thing, and you're, smoking through a little bit of sugar. And I love it. It's great with coffee, but it's a dessert cigar, but it's just a cigar. It's not infused or anything. For whatever reason, however they do it, it just comes out sweet. This one, not the same jazz, man. This is not a dessert cigar. This is more of a cigar you sit there and look at it, ponder it, think about it, and all that jazz. You start waxing philosophical. You start solving the political problems of the universe. You start talking about crap you have no idea about, like, Winston Churchill was the greatest European leader of the 20th century. You could barely spell Churchill. Let's be honest, okay? If you can't tell, I'm in a good mood tonight. Let's talk about the cigar a little bit more. I told you about the notes, told you about the strength. You look at that. Let me get a better angle on it. If you look at that cigar, the wrapper, you see how it's got these, this knobbiness to it, this veininess to it? That's what's called tooth, okay? It's a toothy cigar, right? I like it like that. It means that the wrapper's fairly snug around the rest of the tobacco that it's wrapped into, and you tend to get a better draw. There's a little resistance when you have that. Not always, but it gives interest. It provides interest, and I like it for that. Let's look at the burn. The burn is not awesome, let's be honest, man. Let me flip the camera on this thing. We'll be right back. How's that? Much more betterer, right? You really see the tooth. You can see the burn. It's not awesome, but I think it's fairly self-correcting. We're only about an inch into it. Haven't had to ash because the first half inch or so went in my lap and I didn't even notice it because I was talking so much. Look at that. That cigar is so classic the way it burns. It almost looks like something out of like an old Disney cartoon, you know, like, do you remember Pinocchio? Pinocchio went over to Pleasure Town or whatever that place was called and smoking cigars. I mean, it looks just like a cartoon cigar, man. I think that burns itself correct. Ooh, we got a little nub right there. We'll see. We'll see. Coming back, coming back. Got a hot Georgia summer brewing, baby. I'm here still smoking the Asylum 13. Just flip the camera back around. Hoping this burn will correct itself. It looks like that little nub there is starting to get lit from the inside. It's starting to burn down. So I think another inch or so, it'll be pretty perfect burn. I'm gonna try to smoke it well. Not too fast, not too slow, so I don't have to touch it up. Excuse my squeaky chair. Oh yeah, man. Yeah. Medium plus strength for sure. A little astringent on the tongue. Burn is correcting. The ash does not hold on. This is not a stiff ash. You might get an inch or two out of it if you're really careful, but it will fall in your lap like it did mine. But you don't smoke this one to make Instagram photos of your ash, okay? You smoke this one because it's freaking delicious. One of the better Asylums I've ever had. I got this one up at Puff and Stuff. DeKalb County, Georgia. I'm not sure. I think it's Tucker. That's the city. I smoke it, and the more I like it. When I pontificate a little bit in between puffs and I let it cool down a little bit, and then I take another drag, it's a lot easier on the palate. If I smoke it like a train, it's a little rougher, as you might expect. I'm gonna give you some more information on them in coming videos. Right now, I just know that the 4 different Asylums I've ever had, outstanding. Very different characters from each other. These guys might be the Marvel comics of cigars, because very different characters, but all playing on the same team. You know, this is like a good version of DC Comics with a good version of Justice League. And yes, there's a lot to be said about that, and I have some opinions, but no, this is not a channel you're gonna find that information on, okay? I might put it in the video title, maybe. I wonder if that'll get a lot of views. Probably will get more if I mention that. So I'm gonna check back in with you when we get to halfway. I wanna thank you, by the way, for getting this far. If you like this content, you like the info, you like my silly face, I don't blame you. I do too. Hit subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna put out a few more videos. We're gonna branch out from cigar content, but we're never gonna stray too much from cigar content. Mostly gonna be about cigars and a few other things, lifestyle things that are related. We're gonna not delve too far into politics or anything like that. We didn't want to divide people. We want to bring them together. They call it the brotherhood of the leaf, sisterhood of the leaf. I believe in that. It's one thing we all have in common, those of us who smoke cigars, that transcends everything else. And with the climate we're going through right now, man, we need more things like this, and we need to remember that. So no matter who you are, how you identify, or what your thing is, if you smoke cigars, man, I'm with you. See you in a minute. Daggum smoke is chewy, but I can't seem to get a smoke ring out of it at all. Not even close. Smoke pillow, maybe. Almost. So I just removed the band. It didn't stick to it because it had no adhesion to it. There's no glue or whatever they use, spirit gum or something. None of that to stick to the thing, which I like because it doesn't put a hole in the wrapper when you take the band off. The flavor profile really hasn't changed. The burn has really crisped up. It kind of slips back and forth, like you see it's a little low there, a little high on the other side, and it kind of goes like this. I haven't touched it up, not once. Pretty impressed with that. It completely self-corrected, so that's good. It's a sign of a good roll and a well-maintained humidor, in my opinion, as well. It's a slight wood smell, or taste rather. I want to say cedar. It's a light wood, maybe a little oak. Now normally we don't eat oak or cedar, so it's kind of weird to think of that as a flavor note, but if you've ever worked with wood and you get the sawdust in the air, you learn that oak and cedar have a smell, and your smell and your taste are intimately connected, so it is a worthwhile description. It's rich. It's very, very rich. A little more pepper, slight, and it's not a dark, hard-hitting pepper. It's a lighter, fragrant pepper, and it hits you in the back of the throat, but in just the slightest of ways. And a little bit more now that I'm halfway through. Speaking of getting through, I just finished episode 7 of The Witcher. Any of you guys watching this on Netflix? I tell you, man, I usually love shows like this, but I've been trying to like it because I love Henry Cavill. Same guy who played Superman in Zack Snyder's Man of Steel. So far, I'm leaning towards I like it. I don't think I'm going to love it. Maybe I'll do a review on it years from now and look back and think it's the best thing ever. But right now, I just think it's good TV. All right. I'll come back to you when I'm at the nub, and we'll wrap this up.
He came for me.
Not bad. Welcome back. I'm at the nub. There we go, baby. Little guy. There it is. Let me tell you. It's nice. Even tastes good. Like in the spit, So, what's the verdict on this thing? Well, I tell you, it was only $6.50, right? That's $6.50 a stick for really good quality, well-tasting stick that surprises and delights. It's not just a bargain. It's a unicorn. It's unexpected. Now, will I smoke this every day? No. Mainly because it's a little stronger than I like. But will I always want to have one of these in my humidor? I think so. Is it one worth going out of your way for? Well, you get 3 or 4 of them, for the cost of 2 higher price sticks. Yeah. Go out of your way and get a handful. Put them in your humidor. Smoke one right away. Save the other 3 for a special occasion. But I'm telling you, these things are a delight. You see that when I draw? You get the little ring of fire right there. It's not a cool burning stick. Even when I smoke it lightly, like holding it like that, I'm feeling the heat of the cherry on my fingers. Is it burning me? If I hold it here another minute or so, yeah, it'll burn. So I don't. I hold it back here. But it's not a cool burning. This is 100% not retouched. If I had a pipe or something, I'd stick this joker in a pipe and I'd finish it right down to the very cut, right to the cut. I ventured to say this would be really good with a great bourbon. Get you a good Kentucky bourbon, a good American bourbon. I think that's a wrap, man. This has been the Asylum 13 Maduro. Awesome cigar. We're going to rate this joker a 9.1. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Thank you for joining me on the low budget back porch. Thank you for having a smoke with me. I really enjoyed our time together. Hope you learned something. Had a good time. Until next time, stay smoky, my friends.